Run, Forrest! Run!
Hi, I'm Max, and today on Great Levels in Gaming, we're taking a look at Far Cry 3, developed by Ubisoft, and I did look up the pronunciation on that, you're welcome, and released in late 2012. Anyone else who's enjoyed the game might start smiling and nodding when I tell you that my favorite level in the game, which we're taking a look at today, is Kick the Hornet's Nest. One of the level's greatest strengths, in my opinion, is the way in which it subverts the expectations that the game establishes early on, so let's take a look at what the game does to set this up. The opening of the game ends with you playing as Jason Brody fleeing the pirate camp after Jason's brother has been killed. Grant was ex-military while Jason is just his spoiled party boy little brother, so his death serves to signal to you just how threatening the situation is. Grant was formidable, capable, whereas Jason's weak and inexperienced. And the pirates are able to make short work of him, so what chance would Jason stand against them? The opening moments, by the way, are entirely a stealth sequence in which you and Grant sneak through the camp. That's going to be important later, so keep it in mind. Additionally, the game's outposts establish an emphasis on stealth through their reward structure. Capturing one with a head-on assault, fighting off enemy reinforcements while the alarms are blaring, earns you 500 XP. And if you take the time to disable the alarms beforehand, that gets boosted up to 550. But if you go stealthy and you clear an outpost nice and slow, you get a whopping 1500 XP, which is a huge boost and a notable incentive towards stealthy play, especially considering how important those early skills are. The game's Wanted Dead quests take this a step further by requiring a specific target to be assassinated with a knife or takedown, which promotes predatory stealth in order to get close enough to the target to complete the mission safely. These three major game elements serve to quickly establish and incentivize stealthy play as equal to, if not greater than, aggressive loud combat early in the game, especially when you consider the limited health, armor, and ammunition available to you starting out. Just as the game spends its early hours providing incentives for stealthy play, Kick the Hornet's Nest is the game's introduction to a playstyle focused on all-out assault. Provided with a flamethrower, Jason is instructed to waltz on into one of the villain, Hoyt's drug farms and proceed to burn it down to draw his attention. The game has, until now, placed an emphasis on not drawing enemy attention, so this departure from the norm in the mission's objective is completely new to you when you first play it. This is human nature right here. The eye is drawn to change, so the game uses the difference in the level's objective to capture your attention by going entirely against what it has trained you to expect. The developers actively facilitate this aggressive approach by providing large ammo caches throughout the pot farm to keep you stocked up. It's also incredibly smart from a design perspective that Ubisoft started by having you spend so much time getting acquainted and comfortable with stealth before giving you a mission that revolves so much around direct combat, since it avoids the problems that can come from the reverse approach. Many gamers have lamented over the years the dreaded forced stealth sequence, which is most often problematic when a game designed around constant action takes away all of your toys and demands that you hide and avoid your enemies. Even if a game is designed to accommodate both stealthy and direct engagements, as Far Cry 3 is, getting a player used to the latter before introducing the former can quickly damage a game's pacing. Much like when you're in a car, when a game slams on the brakes it can be jarring and frustrating, but quick acceleration can be exhilarating. In the same way, this level expands your options without sacrificing pacing. On the contrary, the increase in pace benefits your experience by grabbing your attention and immersing you further. In this sense, Ubisoft was wise to teach stealth immediately at the start of the game before it could cause any damage to the game's pacing later on. Another positive consequence of shifting emphasis from stealthy, careful gameplay to direct combat is that, by facilitating the action through providing weapons and ammunition, the developers were sure to instill you with a feeling of empowerment by actively giving you the means to engage the pirates directly. I previously mentioned the game's opening sequence and how effectively it teaches you not to fight the pirates head-on, and the circumstances surrounding the action in this level effectively turn this idea completely on its head. The outposts and Wanted Dead missions do a very good job of lending a feeling of empowerment to stealth play, but Kick the Hornet's Nest is designed to engage you by not just telling you, but showing you that you're able to take on the pirates in the exact way that the game initially tells you not to. This intentionally leads to a greater feeling of freedom, since you're suddenly shown that not only are the pirates not an insurmountable threat, but you can actually take them on and win handily, making you more aware of your options. Freedom is essentially having options, so the more the better, right? Now, you won't be the only one to notice the new freedom and empowerment that this level showcases either. Jason shares in it with you while you're playing it. you'll notice in the subtitles his excited exclamations at how awesome it is to use the flamethrower, and I feel like this exhibited attitude is really interesting to note. See, it's not uncommon in gaming to witness a character just completely ignore it when they do something that in a normal setting would be utterly unbelievable. One of my favorite examples of this is the end of an early level of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when you, playing as Roach, just casually jump a gorge on a snowmobile. Whee! While there's nothing inherently wrong with that, I think that Jason's enjoyment of the on-screen action in Kick the Hornet's Nest makes it a stronger level on the whole by synchronizing your feelings as the player with Jason's in the game. Where a divide between your feelings and his would be jarring and immersion breaking, the synchronicity between what the game wants you to feel and what Jason feels can lead to a much greater feeling of engagement with the on-screen action. I'd like to talk about the music for a moment because it does a ton of stuff for this level and does it all incredibly well. First off, and probably the most obvious, the style of the song perfectly captures what is going on in the level. Skrillex's dubstep is a nod toward Jason's prior life of clubbing and partying, while Damian Marley's reggae is a wink and a nudge toward pop culture and the situation in which Jason finds himself. Juxtaposing these two styles together is a reference to just how out of place Jason is in the game, and that for the first time, that's totally okay. The genre reflects the setting and character of the mission, and the tempo and mood of the song support the feeling of empowerment that we looked at previously. The song isn't particularly fast, and the lyrics are upbeat and relaxed, supporting the level's mood. You're powerful, you're unstoppable, you don't need to worry about those pirates, you can just have fun. The strong, steady beat of the song emphasizes the idea that you're basically a walking tank. You're decked out in weapons, slowly but steadily moving through the farm, laying a trail of carnage and destruction in your wake, and you are having a blast with it the whole time. On the simplest level, it's a party song. We've already seen just how much fun Jason has with the flamethrower, so the music plays into the fact that, despite the violence in the level, it's all just a party to Jason. I feel that it's worth spending a bit of time touching on that fact. This level is one of the earliest times in which we begin to see Jason genuinely indulging in violence. When escaping the pirates with his girlfriend Lisa, we see him get excited to get away, but there it can be chalked up to adrenaline and relief upon successfully surviving a burning building and high-speed car chase through the jungle. In this case, however, Jason is the aggressor. He's the one going in and killing a bunch of people, all with a smile on his face, seemingly unperturbed by the fact that he's cutting down all these lives. While the connection between Jason's enjoyment of the action and yours is very effective for enjoyable gameplay, it also serves to highlight the differences between video games and reality, which is often a sticking point for those critical of games as an artistic medium. While it's okay for us to enjoy gaming and the actions therein, Jason's behavior would be completely deplorable in reality. But because the game is Jason's reality, however, later in the game we start to see the horror that a quote real person, as depicted by Jason's friends, would feel when confronted with what is essentially a fairly standard main character in a first-person shooter. I feel like this is really interesting as a commentary on the difference between games and reality, as if to show what could happen if somebody genuinely could not tell the two apart, and what kind of mental state they would have to be in to do so. And all of this begs the question, what would put somebody into the kind of state of mind to be capable of this in the first place? Jason's clearly a damaged person, and to me his enjoyment of violence is really his coping mechanism for what, when you look at it objectively, is a terrifying situation. We see him scared at the beginning, but he's not able to help his friends that way. Instead, he trusts Dennis, quote, embracing the tatau, which really just means he does the only thing he can to keep the terror far enough at bay to be able to save his friends. He starts to like it. Okay, I really love this level. I hope it shows. Really, I guess if I were to say anything else, it would be a far cry from the truth. Alright, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a like, and any comments you have on the video would be greatly appreciated. If you want to keep updated on videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on Twitter, which is linked in the description.
Flammenwerfer.